But now let's get to some fun facts. Number 1, they actually like eating you. They prefer that over like a dumb fish or like a squid. They like the flesh of intelligent beings.
They're emotionless, but you being very emotional is flavorful to them.
I'm not sure how that's flavored, but the tender meat of the emotional person.
Well, they're just a different, like, psychic. They're like a different species.
Completely. So I guess they like when like that. When the person like went through a breakup, just when they say, "I love the taste of morning."
Of mourning? Oh, mourning. Oh, right. Right, like I mourn something. Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Let's see. I already said they're immortal. So I will say that their mucus is secreted by these like organ membranes that they have. And if these organs are damaged, they will die. It's like it will kill them. So typically in D&D, obviously you can't really target where you're hitting, but maybe if you wanted to homebrew it in some sense, where if the players target certain areas of the Aboleth, like that could kill the Aboleth outright. You could do it that way.
Yeah.
It's also just a fun fact.
Yeah, also a fun fact, they got 2 hearts. And you're thinking, like, why do they have 2 hearts? Number 1, the first heart does what a normal heart does, pumps blood to the body. The second heart pumps the heart to the brain. And you're thinking, like, why is the brain so important? Because its brain is mega heavy. I'm pretty sure it's like 1/6 of its total mass or something, or 1/3.
It has a big brain with multiple lobes, but the big lobe that matters for them is they have an entire lobe for memory. So we don't have lobes for memory. I mean, how brains typically work is everything kind of does everything. But in general, we have like areas like the hippocampus that like kind of are really centers. They have an entire lobe. And not only do they have a lobe, the lobe runs all the way down their back and will just continue to grow as they learn memory. So they got this massive hard drive of memories.
But theoretically, it can run out of space.
Actually not. And this is another fun fact. They never stop growing.
God dang it.
Yeah. So
you could... Oh, extra ideas? Kaiju science!
Wait. Yes. Save it.
God dang it.
Yeah, but your fun fact, your extra ideas, my extra.
Yeah, but so basically, just with the fun fact, so basically, if you stab Aboleth, it's normally red blood. If you get a sick headshot with your sick trying throw, your trying will be covered by this black mucusy blood, because that heart pumps literally everything to that brain. That the blood is mega rich with oxygen. I don't know, mega rich with oxygen. But, I guess the fun fact about that, they have humongous heads. Like, their brains are, like, literally, like, thousands of pounds.
Yeah, they're, like, big brains.
Yeah, they're literally, like, I don't know, like, our brain is only 10 pounds, right? So that's only, 1/20th of our body weight for a normal human? Right.
I have no idea. I mean, we as humans have huge brains compared to most animals.
Yeah,
but compared to Aboleths,
theirs are just dense, big, heavy, and dense. They're full of crap. Zombies. Yeah. Nom those Aboleth brains, baby. Whew. Zombies love them. Yeah. But some other fun stuff. You're probably wondering, like, why is the mucus in their tentacles different from just their body? They'll like push their mucus through like this organ in their tentacles, and it's like more because it's more concentrated.
More concentrated,
so more toxic, yeah. So pretty messed up stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty cool. Some drow or some people of the Underdark put Aboleth mucus on their arrows, so they shoot you and become like you can't breathe in the air.
Oh, that's smart.
That's kind of deadly.
That's really smart. Right, because if you're nowhere near water, you won't be able to breathe.
Yep.
And the thing is, I mean, they can pass the Constitution save at least. But yeah, that's a good idea. Have people use this disease on their weapons when it's not the Aboleth.
Sorry,
if you can't hear, Ethan has been diseased by the Aboleth.
God, yes.
We'll have to get him underwater soon, within the next minute.
Oh wait, I actually got water.
Oh, perfect. Just pours over his head.
Ugh, water.
Yes. Okay, I got a fun fact. So their skin dries out on land, as I mentioned, and this is even though they can breathe air. Like, they can go out in the air and breathe fine, but it dries out. They need to keep it moist. And so if they're caught on land with no way of getting back to water, what they'll do is they'll enter this suspended animation that they call long dreaming. And it's like kind of like a hibernation, like they form this like shell in order to keep their moisture. But they stay there forever. And
So
they
that's how you actually permanently get rid of the aboleth.
kind of they
Throw that sucker onto land and make him
yeah, it's an aquatic creature, and Aboleths view this thing as worse than death, because if they die, they just come back. But for this, they have to just sit there in this like dream state forever until they get to water.
Aboleths. All right, boys, we're getting rid of the aboleth race. You just fish them all up, throw them in a hole, and just close that sucker up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Aboleths are not.
Yeah.
I mean, Aboleths have vulnerabilities. Like, they're not. They're just really smart. Is the thing. That's. You're just never gonna be able to do that because they're gonna be out planning you. Like, you're gonna be like, all right, guys, throw the nets, and then all of a sudden they all go. All the people throwing the nets are like, they look at you, and it's like, oh, great. All of them have been like enslaved years ago.
But then the wizard comes. I wish they were all on land. Heh heh heh. The wish spell.
Oh, the wish spell, right.
And then the aboleths are like, why am I on land? Oh, God.
Yeah, but aboleths are smart, and they got a lot of magical items. It could very easily be like,
oh,
we have something to protect against that.
I totally forgot in combat strategies. They use magic items.
Okay.
So, you know, like the wizard's like, ooh, I'm casting all this stuff. The aboleth grabs like a little baby wand and just, electricity!
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. As long as they could. You see one, it has like a helmet. It's like,
just like a little
helmet on one of its little tentacles. It's like, look, I'm wearing it. Okay.
Yes. Now we get to extra ideas.
No.
What?
I have more. I think I'm done. I'm almost done. Oh, wait, maybe I am done. Oh, no, I already said these two.
We're done. Extra ideas! All right, my first one is make them big.
Make them big. Okay, so
God dang it.
So make them big. That's the one you always say. But for this Aboleths, that actually can make sense because Aboleths grow forever. So if you want your PCs to encounter this like really really old Aboleth, it would actually be huge.
Wait, so literally, like, why are they just large? Wouldn't they just be huge since they were?
They grow pretty quickly to start, but once they reach that kind of large size, they grow a very small amount from there. And I bet it's just to keep up with the memory they're acquiring.
It's like, man, he grew like 3 inches. Well, yeah, you know, he kind of like he went through some stuff, you know. He's like, oh, I didn't know. He read like a new book from someone, and he just magically grew as tall.
Grew a little bit.
Yeah, grew a bit.
Yeah, you can think of like the memory of Aboleths as like a computer storage, and so like when they impart their memory to another creature, it's kind of like a zip file. It's where it's like condensed, and then it's like there you go. And then as they go, they're acquiring new memories in kind of the general sense. And if they want to remember that old memory, they kind of have to go back in their mind and kind of...
Hold on, guys. Give me one... It's like... So, like... Who's your most hated god? Give me 1 second. Like, 10 minutes goes by.
Yeah, like the little loading symbol.
Wait, so that's what you do. You, like, say, like, so I have a question, Mr. Aboleth. Oh, great one. Do you, like, remember, like, you see some random dude that's, like... that died like thousands of years ago. What was like his favorite like food? And then he's like, hold on, give me 1 second. He has to sit there.
Well, he may not be dumb enough.
Everyone just like, you know.
Yes. We could try it.
Yeah. What would be sick extra idea? Make a Kraken fight an Aboleth. Sick. 2 of the ocean monsters.
Well, either the Aboleth would be able to enslave the Kraken, or the Kraken would get to the Aboleth and tear it apart. One of those 2 things would happen. That's it. If the Aboleth doesn't get through the mind of the Kraken, the Kraken's like, all right, boy.
Wait, but Aboleth couldn't technically enslave a kraken.
Yeah, it's a weak-minded thing. No, Aboleths are like super strong when you factor in that they can just enslave other things, right? Right?
Oh God!
You can be as strong as you want if it can take you over. It's like the Professor X effect. You know what I mean?
But what happens if there's a Magneto?
Well, that's the thing. Magneto has to wear a helmet to protect. If Magneto didn't have his like anti-mind helmet, then Professor X would mop the floor with him. Professor X would be like, no, you're not gonna do that."
Oh God, that makes Aboleth so much scary. It's like you pull up in this lair. It's like, why do you have like 6 krakens in here? He's just like, oh, these guys? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, go kill them.
I've been breeding them.
I've been breeding them.
Yeah.
Actually, it's actually the Aboleth wouldn't want to do that. We'll get into that in the kraken video.
Okay.
It's very bad.
Right, because you keep bringing up the mutations.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not that. It's something scarier.
All right, but let's get into these extra ideas. I got a couple. So my first one is have your minions, okay, be kind of like a warning or like a sample of kind of what the stakes are in this fight.
What you become.
Yeah, so like have the PCs fight what they would become if they lose this fight. It's like, and describe them in like gross detail, just so they really know, like, this thing will make you this, and so you better beat it. Because
you're going to become this dude over here.
Yeah, and the skin is like peeling off. You can tell it's in pain, but it's still doing what it says.
How long do you live if you're a slave, I wonder?
I don't know, yeah. I'm sure the Aboleth has ways of extending your life farther than you would want it to be extended.
And they say lichdom is bad.
Because you're kind of just slowly falling apart underwater. You know what I mean? You're not getting stabbed and your blood isn't going away. It's like your skin is just like slowly flaking off. Not even flaking. It's just like, I don't even know what word. I'm blanking on a word, but it's peeling off and it's just painful, but not really killing you.
So you're just becoming chunky jello.
Yeah.
Like, like there's chunks.
Well, it's like
Jell-O.
getting skinned alive, but slowly, like really slowly. Because your skin is just slipping off your bones. Or off your muscle.
That is awful.
It's terrible. And describe it as such when you're describing this sort of thing.
I got one. Make some Aboleth cults.
Okay.
Like, there has to be some freaking maniacs that are like, Aboleths are sick.
The Kuatoa would have many of those.
Well, they're not.
You mean
cults.
Human ones?
Yeah, like human ones.
That would be interesting.
Like Cthulhu. Like,
well, I actually have a. that reminds me of an idea. So this is similar. You could have a cult where like the humans are like willfully worshiping this Aboleth, but you could also have the PCs to show up to a town, and this town is just all enslaved.
But they don't know.
No, they do. Well, the PCs don't know. Yeah, and so it's like, why are the villagers so weird? You know what I mean?
Why are they just carrying this like mucusy barrels around?
Well, it's like, why do they keep like pouring a bunch of food into the lake? You know what I mean? Like, that's perfectly good food. But it's like the Aboleth, like, just using this town as a food source.
And why is everyone super logical and saying that gods suck? Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, where's the religion around here?
They literally burnt down the church over there, and they keep staring at our cleric Joe.
And why does everyone invite us to go skinny dipping in the lake? It's like
oh no,
we're just passing through. Jeez.
The women are like, you want to go skinny? It's like, no. It's like, I insist.
I insist, but then it's like, you don't look like you showered ever.
Like, what's wrong with you?
It's like, I'm not.
Or like, oh god.
So there's a lot of fun you could do with like a town that's been enslaved, or you could just have a cult, and that could be fun too.
Mega cult.
Yeah. Okay. So I've said that. I guess I'll just reiterate this. When you have the water that you're fighting in, you need to make it really murky, and make it limit sight. So you can't see through it. If you're in it, you can't really see. And this just exponentially increases the creepiness. Because you can say, like, you're fighting an Aboleth, but this could be the equivalent of fighting an Aboleth in the pitch dark. Because if the water is 100% murky, like, everyone's blind.
Oh, hell no.
Like, no one can do anything, right? So that just makes things even worse. Like one of your people get pulled underwater, and you can't see anything. And the Aboleth probably just went 40 feet.
Wait, but what happens if you have dark vision like freaking everyone in D&D?
Well, it's murky water. It's not night. It's murky, right? Like, you can't... Dark vision doesn't allow you to just see through, like, dirt. Like that, you know what I mean?
Well, wouldn't that mean that Aboleth is also blind?
Maybe. But they have a really high perception.
Homebrew it. Make them see through murky water.
But, yeah, that could happen.
One thing I don't really understand is, like, literally a lot of things could just kill Aboleth, like, easily.
Yeah, they could.
Go...
But the Aboleth would be like, no.
But then they fail. Yeah, 14,
I compel you.
A 14 wisdom saving throw is not that high.
It's not. But
it's actually below.
But for some dumb, powerful creatures, it is.
Well, like, if it tries to do it to, like, a dragon or, like, I don't know, like, a sphinx.
True, it'd have
like
a hard time.
Like, I kind of wish Aboleths had... They should have spells. They should be given spells. Like, freaking... Like...
Well, spells spells require components, and also spells a lot of times can be from the gods. Aboleths don't want to do that. But like a spell can have verbal components. Aboleths don't really have mouths that are made for that.
But
they take tactile movements, right? Like movements with your body, and they just have tentacles. Like they can't really do the special finger movements.
But they could go gurg and like just flail their tentacles around.
But that may not be good enough. Yeah.
Well, actually, no. The goddess of magic would be like, no, frick you, Aboleth. You're not gonna get jack crap.
Right.
You know, that actually makes sense. There's actually a goddess that like controls magic in the world.
I feel like Aboleth would be like, we went long enough without magic. We don't need magic. We're good. We're too good.
Actually, fun fact: they can't have magic unless it's a magical item, because the goddess of magic would never give them magic.
Yeah, you keep bringing that up, but you could say that for anything evil. Like the goddess of magic clearly is like she gives it to anyone. Like
demons and devils, they actually have like a purpose in the world.
I know, but you could say that for any like the goddess of magic. I don't think really
she's neutral.
Cares. Yeah, she's neutral.
But Aboleth is,
No, I don't. I think she's neutral. She's like, yeah, these creatures think they're the best thing ever, but it's not my thing to say if they can use magic or not. Like, she's not. She doesn't have that sort of.
Well, I guess
hubris.
Aboleth just wouldn't use it then. They're like, a goddess made this type of crap. Which, by the way, just makes Aboleths make themselves look even more stupid. Like, you guys didn't make magic.
Maybe they would use it, but like I said, they may not be able to use a lot of spells because it requires these components.
Oh yeah, no, I guess.
Okay, let's go to another one. Okay. So Aboleths know a lot about the world, right? Like they've been here since the beginning, and a lot of times as the DM, as the players, you're playing in this unique homebrew world, right? Most of the time, you are playing a world you've created as the DM. So to determine what an Aboleth knows, I would suggest giving it the knowledge that you know as the DM. Because just like you, the DM, created this world, the Aboleth has been here since the beginning of all of it. So it knows everything you know.
Or unless you're weird and you said, yeah, no, Aboleths are just a giant fish monster. That's their purpose.
Well, if you do that, then you don't listen to Albert Bros. And if your DM just makes an Aboleth just like a bot that you have to fight, then send this episode to them.
Yeah, do that. That'd be cool. Yeah, no, I mean, that makes total sense. I mean, one thing I'm kind of like curious about is like what they like know is like, oh, if I say this magical component like counteracts spell wizard, like just like, I know this order, and he says on like creed something, that guy's like, you're part of the creed, and that was like, yeah.
I don't understand.
Well, like you know how there's like organizations and like creeds and like
that.
Like it would know all of this stuff in history, so like it could literally counteract so much type of crap.
Yeah, but it would hate all of it. It'd be like, that's all stupid. Now, okay, it may not know present day things, right? Like if you come from like the top of a mountain that has no connection to like any body of water, where it would be like really unlikely that an Aboleth would like have a slave up there that has like gained knowledge for them, then the Aboleth probably wouldn't know about it. It's just like not a thing. The Aboleth knows about things that are important, things that have like persisted throughout the world. Just little things that come and go. It doesn't know. It's not omniscient, right? It just knows the big stuff. Yeah, it's not like, oh, I know your wife's name is Gertha.
Gertha. freaking Batman.
It's like, no, it wouldn't know that.
When it sees Batman, oh, I know your parents, Martha, and Batman's like, Martha.
Yes.
Wait, that means that Aboleth could know everyone's backstory. It's like, sorry, Rogue, that your
No, but if an Aboleth eats one of your players, it would.
No.
The Aboleth is like, now I know everything about you guys. Everything that player knew, at least.
When the Aboleth just like eats like the wizard or something, and all the players are like, don't worry, guys, the wizard wasn't that valuable. The Aboleth just like smiles. He's just like, I know everything about you guys now. And then you just see its eyes just glow more red. Just,
now, obviously, the cost of that is high because you have to like kill a player to give your Aboleth that ability. But
well, imagine one was like gargantuan.
But I guess it's not about you killing a player. If that player naturally dies just because you're being neutral, but your player fails and the Aboleth kills it,
stupid.
Then now the Aboleth has that ability.
Well, what happens if it's like a gargantuan size Aboleth and just swallows your player?
Yeah, consumed.
That would be bad.
And so it just say in the lore like if it knows everything from anything it's consumed. So it's kind of vague on does that mean if you consume the whole creature, or what if the Aboleth just bites off your hand? Does it like get knowledge somehow? I would think it has to be your head.
It definitely has to be your brain.
Okay, then yeah, it doesn't say that, but
sure
that makes sense.
Players work the same way, but like the brain means everything.
Right.
What's with things in brains?
Like okay, let's keep moving.
Do you have anything else?
Yes. Okay, so I kind of mentioned this earlier, but so when you're using an Aboleth in your campaign, the best thing to do is make it the mastermind. Make it the thing behind everything. That will do it the most justice. If you make it just this kind of random encounter, like maybe you make it really smart, but the PCs just happen to encounter it, that's just not doing a justice to it because you have so much capability to foreshadow this monster, to have its plot just make this huge web throughout the PC's world and throughout the whole plot, and to not make that web, but yet include an Aboleth as if it's just like living here without any effect on the world, is not doing it justice. The Aboleth will always have an effect on the world, on the surrounding environment, because it is a mastermind that wants to, right? It will have slaves strategically placed in all these places, and those slaves can make the plot really interesting and make the Aboleth even more interesting. Because it's like, oh, this fish thing has been at the bottom of our entire like plot. Oh my god.
And
you know what I mean?
knew.
So now it's like a boss battle. Of course, it's got minions and all that, but it'd be cool. So yeah, that's one. Do you have more?
I got one more.
Okay.
Make an Aboleth god. Or like use
What?
the Elder Evils. That would be sick.
What do you mean?
The Elder Evils made the Aboleths.
Okay.
Maybe the Aboleths are like, hey, look at these Elder Evils. Like, you know, like, what the heck are they? We don't really know a lot about them. So, like, maybe you gotta, like, deal with the Elder Evils in a bit. Like, the Aboleths should dwell into the Elder Evils in the plane of chaos.
Well, they, like, respect them, but I don't think they're just talking about them 24/7. Like, I don't think they'd be like, hey, you heard about the Elder Evils? No, what the...
Well, I mean, I think they would mention them. But you really think they just respect them? Like, if something created...
They have reverence for them.
No, I guess, but...
They revere them.
But homebrews, like, make, like, a big, bad Aboleth being. It doesn't have to be a god, but make it, like... If this thing comes into the world, like, all the gods are screwed.
Yeah, that could be, like... So, I mean, Aboleths are only CR 10. So, like, if you have a huge campaign, maybe the Elder Evils are, like, your level 20 boss, but the Aboleths are your level 10 boss. Where it's, like, a middle ground, where, like... everything shifts when they encounter the Aboleth, because not only is like the first phase of your campaign kind of culminating with them, but they're kind of kicking off the next phase with all the information you gain from them.
Yeah.
Okay, I got just brief last ones. You could make an Aboleth a patron for a warlock.
Well, when he just say kill all your friends, screw the gods.
Yeah.
Vandalize the
An
churches.
evil warlock. Okay, so yeah,
That'd
I'll
be a
just
cool
throw that out
villain,
there.
though, Warlock of Aboleth.
Yeah,
Cool
I
villain.
don't know how much magic they'd get, but yeah. My final thing is make them terrifying. When you bring them in, you need to emphasize how scary they are, and on all facets. They're not only physically horrifying to look at, but they will mess you up. If you get diseased, you're physically obliterated. Like you're the grossest thing ever now. And then if you get enslaved, rip. You're now a slave for infinity until you can break their
Wait, a guy pulls
role.
out his phone. Rip in the chat, boys. I got enslaved. This is my final text. Puts it back.
Yeah. So really emphasize how terrifying they are. Like as a player, if I were to encounter one, I would want to understand how much danger I'm in on all levels, on mental and physical. Yeah.
You're mega screwed.
Yeah, exactly.
God comes out.
Like there's so much at stake. It's like you can't. This is not the combat to mess up on, right? You can mess up fighting the ogre, and you'll be fine. Your players will kill it. This one, you could get diseased real bad. You know what I mean? So you don't want to mess up with this one.
That's why you get stupid low-level pendants of pendant of health, where you're just immune to diseases.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And then you walk up to the Aboleth slaps you. He's like, "What? Oh, dude, God, I hate you, God of Healing."
Right. Do you have any more extra ideas?
No, I don't.
Wow. All right. Well, that's it for what are these called? Aboleths.
Jesus.
There's so much we didn't talk about Aboleths, but this should be plenty for you to go off of. So yeah, I mean, hopefully that was all helpful and it made sense because it's pretty dense, honestly.
They're very interesting.
Yeah, it's one of the first creatures introduced in D&D. It was in Edition 1, Aboleths. They looked very different, but this is a very old creature with lots of lore behind it. So if you really like Aboleths, let us know and we could talk more about them.
Part 2.
We could just really dive into the lore. This is all you really need to know. This is more than you need to know, but at least what you need to know to introduce one into your campaign. So hopefully that is helpful.